Hey guys, Angry Goat here again. I just want to get with you guys and show you how I prepare my pilot holes and get my project ready before I start my scroll sawing. So the first thing you want to do is you want to find your drill bits. My first drill bit I'm going to be using today is a Black & Decker drill bit. It just goes through wood and metal, no big deal. But we're using a 3/32. I chose this size because it's not too big and not too small. And at the same time, I can get my spiral blade through it. Now today I'll be using a 0.039 by 0.016 40 TPI Flying Dutchman scroll saw bit. I'll also show you how a pin blade is ineffective in a project like this. So first thing I did, I went ahead and went through my project and I went and looked at all my drill bits. And I wanted to test it out just to kind of see the sizes. Usually I'm going to use the largest part. Most likely I prefer to be on the outside of the wood as much as possible on any of these projects, just to make sure when I put my blade in, I'm not bending it too much and getting it too much out of the way. So now let's talk about which blade I decided to use. Although the straight blades with the pins I have right now, they're a lot easier to go for straight cuts and everything like that, but I have a lot of turns in here and I prefer not to be taking the drill bit in and out or trying to adjust it too much. So first thing I decided, I wanted to get a drill bit that would fit through here, but same side, it needs to be a good size for this. Now it's going to be bigger than this, that way I have a little wiggle room, but not smaller. Now the problem you see here when you have a pin type blade, since I've been to the spiral blades, I haven't used a pin type since. And of course these are the regular typed as well. They don't have a pin in them at all. But if you look right here, no matter how, you're going to have a huge pilot hole. I mean, you're probably going to end up being, it'll be the whole size of this right here. And that's just not going to help you. If you drill and it slips a little bit, then you're outside your line. You've already ruined your project before you've even started. So if you look here, those pins will affect you. You have to get a couple steps up. So a couple things I'm going to do here, now that I know which blade and which bit I'm going to have. I'm going to go ahead and, you can just throw this right in the drill and you go ahead and get started. But what I like to do is I like to measure it out so I know how far it's going through the wood and give myself a little bit of a gap there. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a piece of the blue painter's tape. And I'm sure you've probably seen this before, maybe you haven't, maybe you haven't. But I'm going to get this blue painter's tape and I'm going to tape right there at that line. What I want to do is I want to make sure I go through my project, but I don't want to go crazy and go all the way down to my workbench. And I've also got a piece of wood underneath just to make sure that it doesn't hit the metal and mess up my drill bit. Although I got these, I think $7 for the whole set of at Walmart. I mean, it's a cheap set, but it does the job. You don't have to go through anything crazy. All right, now I'll go ahead and put that in. Now you can see here when it goes through, you'll have the blue tape about right there, so you know when to stop. Probably fast forward this, go quickly for you, but I'll brief you a little bit here at the end. All right, now I've got all my drill bits, all my holes drilled in. Well, a couple things I want to do is, as you can see, you can double check, and everything went through perfectly. One thing I did do that I didn't mention to you guys, I usually do, is I'll get my black marker out, and I'll put a spot where I'm going to have it every time, just to where I know there's a redundancy thing, really. What I want to make sure is that I don't forget one or I skip one. So I dot it, and then I go through, and then I drill it. That's just to remind me of all the spots, because I don't know how many times I went through a project, almost done, I only have like one letter left or one spot, and I forgot to drill it out. It's just annoying more than anything. Go and grab your drill bit, put it back in, and you drill it out. But now, one thing I want to do, this isn't going to hurt your pattern, but I want to go ahead and sand it just a little bit. I want to knock off those rough edges, make it a little bit easier when I'm doing my scroll sawing. The same thing on the back. Now, one thing you can also do, you can go grab a tool of some sort, and on the back side, kind of clean those out. Just makes it a little bit easier when you're going through and you're putting your pins in, that they're going to go right through. Now, the good thing about using a board on the back instead of just like on the carpet or on the floor, when you do that, instead of it chopping through like on the back of a cut, you'll usually see a drill bit. It'll come through and it'll leave little bumps and marks like that. But when you do it with another piece on the bottom and you push down on it a little bit, then you'll get it go right through and it'll cut to the other side. So you usually have a pretty clean, sharp spot there. All right, the next project, or next part of our project, I'll have on the next video. We're actually gonna put it on the scroll saw. I'll show you how tedious it is to put the blade in and why I actually put it, except for these two, why I actually put it in spots that are closer to the edge. And more than likely, the way it's been going the last few days, I will also break a pin, or excuse me, break a blade. So I'll show you guys how to swap that out. Real easy. A little bit more difficult with pinless, especially if we're getting the smaller spiral blades as well. But we'll go over all that later. I hope you got something out of this, and enjoy scrolling.